In this video I want to talk about an issue that many guitar players, including myself, face during our musical journey. And this is true for any type of musician. At some point in our musical development we get the idea that we're only good at what we do if we can do stuff that's very difficult. Of course, some of the things I'm going to talk about are depending on personal taste. But I think no matter what instrument you play or what kind of music you enjoy, we all get stuck in this mindset to some degree. And no matter how good you are, there is always someone better. What I want to discuss is, are we only good at our instruments if we can do stuff that's really technical, fast and theoretically advanced? Even though it plays a big part in some styles of music, I think it's a very big misconception that misguides way too many musicians. I remember starting to play guitar in 2005, 2006, and at some point you start exploring everything about guitar. And during that journey I quickly stumbled upon people like Yngwie Malmsteen or the G3 shows where the likes of Joe Satriani, Steve Vai and John Petrucci were playing. And for many people just starting out, that's really overwhelming. What those guys were doing seemed to be an unreachable level for a beginning guitar player. I could play some Jimi Hendrix songs, but I wasn't even going to attempt what those guys were doing. And at that point you think, that must be the pinnacle of guitar playing if it's that difficult to do. But as a beginner you don't know a lot about songwriting, sound or playing to the music. You're focused on mastering your instrument and it seems that speed, difficulty and theoretical proficiency are all that matters to become good at what you do. Let me be clear that there is nothing wrong with what shredders are doing, and if you like that kind of music and guitar playing, that's great and there's also nothing wrong with that. And of course, those guitarists I mentioned are extremely talented. But there is also a lot more than that. Eventually I discovered that the shredding kind of guitar music isn't even what I want to play or like to listen to. And through the years you start to experience the opposite. Guitar players doing a lot with a little. And it all boils down to that famous phrase, less is more. Because in the end, it doesn't matter how difficult it is what you play, and it doesn't matter on any level. There are often jokes about people like Ringo Starr and his drumming, but his drumming suited the songs, was unique, and it was memorable. There are plenty of people who could recognize a Beatles song just by hearing the drums. And of course, for some kind of music it really helps if you can do that technical and difficult stuff. If B.B. King would play in Dream Theater, well, it would probably still sound good, but it would not be within the artistic vision of what the band sets out to do. That leads me to an important question though. Do your technical and theoretical abilities determine if you are a good musician? I think that your technical and theoretical abilities can absolutely be an enhancement of your musical talent, but that they are not a necessity by any means. It's all about what you can do with the abilities that you've got. If you check that clip of The Who I just played and you focus on the instrumental part, you'll notice that what Pete Townshend is doing doesn't sound as complicated as what the drums and bass are doing in the background. But that doesn't make him any less of a musician. Compared to his contemporaries, he wasn't as virtuosic as, for example, Jimmy Page or Eric Clapton, not even as his bandmates Keith Moon and John Entwistle on their respective instruments. But he was aware of that and he didn't need to be. He played what often seemed like easier guitar parts, giving all the space to those bandmates to let loose on their instruments. What he did suited both the songs and his strengths as a guitar player. But most important of all, he was actually the one that wrote all those classic songs. There are plenty of examples of musicians excelling at music without excelling at every possible facet of their instruments or music in general. Great musicians who either couldn't play fast, have any proficient theoretical knowledge, or even played their instruments the incorrect way. It's all about telling a good story with what you're making and moving people with your music. And it doesn't matter if the guitar gymnastics of Yngwie Malmsteen move you, or if it's the way that someone like B.B. King can move you with only 3 notes. One is not better than the other, but most importantly, I think someone is a good musician if he or she can tell a good story with their music, and most of all, move people with their music. So stop doubting yourself, thinking you're not good enough as a musician because you can't do what other people can do. Focus on what you're good at and let that guide you to making the best music that you can without using it as an excuse to become better at your flaws. That's my take on what makes someone a good musician, but of course I would like to hear your thoughts, so leave them in the comments down below. And while you're down there, please like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and I'll see you next time.